comes from Maryland, and we talked about this quarterback. Jerry said he could be a huge deal. His name is Lance Lejean. He has that last name because he comes from Louisiana. What do we need to know about this QB?
Well, he's a big athletic kid, 6'2", 205 pounds. An athletic quarterback, but can stand in the pocket and make throws. Like we said, it was important for Mike Locksley to get a quarterback in this class. Without him, they may not have had one in the class. Thought he was headed to Florida State. They get him today.
Yeah, think about that. Big win over Florida State for him. They also got a cornerback in this signing, a guy from Georgia named Treron Collins.
Yeah, a kid with a lot of versatility, can play corner, but at 6', 290 pounds, might grow into a safety. Obviously, a big physical kid, has a little bit of a track background as well. Had 23 offers, so they add him to the class. To get two guys like that this late in the process, in a shortened class, I think was a big-time pickup for two big-time pickups for Mike Locksley.
Impressive run, and this class still might end up being a little bit smaller than normal. That's why their national ranking will be a little lower. But more than anything, Locksley's known as a great recruiter, so don't expect a low national ranking for the future at Maryland. Some talented wide receivers and defensive backs headline this first class for him. And let's bring in the head coach of the Terrapins now, Mike Locksley, to talk about this signing day. And Mike, when you and I talked on the first signing day, you said the second one would be, quote, really important. Now that we're almost done, how has the day turned out for you?
So far, so good, Mike. You know, we're hoping. We still got a couple things that we're working on, and we're hoping that we're not finished yet. But so far, we've been really pleased. And as we talked about earlier, you know, we had some very specific needs that we had to fill to kind of balance our roster out, and we felt like we were able to meet all those needs.
Well, let's start by breaking down some of the guys you brought in. One of the bigger names is Lance Lejean, a QB from Louisiana. What stands out about him?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously with what we'll be doing on offense, you know, he's a dual threat guy that has the ability to beat you with his legs. He can beat you throwing the football. Comes from a great winning program down at Warren Easton down there in New Orleans, and showed tremendous leadership skills throughout his career. So, you know, we're excited about adding him to our quarterback room.
You also went to Ohio to get Anthony Booker, a defensive lineman. How come?
Well, you know, you can never have enough big bodies. I learned that from my last place I was at. And he's a big body guy that has really athletic ability, really good athletic ability, you know, a knee bender, great size. And for what we're going to do on defense, you know, playing a 3-4 scheme, he's your prototypical 3-4 defensive end. And, you know, it was a great get for us. You know, he was a kid that had a tremendous amount of interest in Maryland prior to me coming here, and then we were able to get him on campus, get with his family, introduce him to our new staff, and it worked out for both of us.
So you brought in a few guys on this second signing day. So obviously some of your attention the last 5 or 6 weeks has been on this class. What was the balance on working on this class versus already building for next year's class?
Well, that was the tough part, you know, coming in late, and I really tried to finish and do a great job for Alabama and didn't want to kind of double duty it too much. So we were a little bit behind when it comes to getting the rest of the coaches hired, also finishing up the 2019 class. So we're still playing a little bit of catch up here with the 2020 class, but we'll use the next couple of weeks here to get all the evaluations done that we need to, again, starting right here in the DMV and working our way out. Luckily for us, these kids have a familiarity with me and with the University of Maryland in this area, and so we'll catch up pretty quickly, but we still have some work to do as we move forward with the 2020 class.
You have long had a reputation as a great recruiter, Mike. Why is that?
I got a business marketing degree, and one of the things you learned in business is if people like you, they'll buy from you. And so I guess I'm that likable guy that people want to buy from. I think it stems with any time you can utilize your past success, and if you look at all the different players that I've been able to recruit at all the different stops, you know, anytime you can get third-party people to say great things about you, and I guess I'm a likable guy because if they like you, they'll buy from you.
Give me the best part about recruiting to Maryland.
Well, I think the biggest thing is where we're located. The most important city in the world is 15 minutes from our campus, Washington, D.C. You know, we're between two of the major job markets in the country, Baltimore and D.C., and then you look at the exposure that you get being in the third largest media market behind New York and L.A. What else? I mean, a great academic institution, top 25 in all types of different fields. A great place.
Flip side, what's the most challenging part right now about recruiting to Maryland?
Well, I just think because of the lack of success or consistency that we've had as a football program the last few years, getting back to a winning tradition. As we all know, peer pressure runs recruiting, and we've got to make it cool to say, I want to go to the University of Maryland again in high schools, and it starts with the grassroots effort. It starts with being very active out there in the community, getting in on 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders as early as you can and getting them up to campus and making it cool again to say, I want to be a Terp.
Well, let me say, that red blazer has definitely helped make it cool. Mike Locksley, thanks so much for your time, man. Congrats on the nice signing day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So let's take a look at the map, and as you can see, a very eastern half of the country focus on this first ever class for Mike Locksley. Howard and the gang, let's talk Terps, shall we?
We shall. I mean, I think when we talk about Mike Locksley, so much is made about what he does as a recruiter. But remember, he was a Broyles Award winner this past year as the offensive coordinator, and I think he's going to do some unbelievable jobs at Maryland, being able to recruit and really being able to protect that area out there in the DMV.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's what everyone's looking for, a combination of both, right? When he ran the offense at Illinois, it was impressive, and I don't think Nick Saban turns the offense over to just anybody that walks into the office, and he's always been a great recruiter. One of the guys he's going to sign is Isaiah Hazel, who's a wide receiver who's going to fit right into Mike Locksley's offense. He's a spread guy. That's what he's known for. Here you see Hazel on a slant. He's a 4-star. Competition's pretty steep. West Virginia, Alabama, Boston College. So this is a guy who probably can come in, play right away under the spread attack that Mike Locksley's going to put in. Here you see him going after the deep ball. He comes back. It's a little underthrown. Does a great job tracking the ball. He's got really good hands. You're going to see here it's going to be a slant pass. Well done. I'll be surprised if he doesn't contribute right away.
And sticking at the wide receiver position, Dino Tomlin out of Pittsburgh. He is the son of Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. Committed to them in November when there was still some uncertainty, but he was in the house when they beat Minnesota. Felt like the program was headed in the right direction. He's a track kid who can really, really run. He was the state champion in the 300-meter hurdles. Coming in as a wide receiver first, but is fast enough, long enough to play cornerback, and a great student in the classroom as well.
Deontay Banks is a 3-star defensive back. Didn't have a bunch of action, really no power fives. He's got really good hands. Watch him go here. Really quick hands. Knock that ball down versus the slant route. Here's another play where he's going to make a really good break on the ball. Really well done. Really got a lot of skill. He's probably underrated a little bit. Here you're going to see him. He's got a man coverage. He makes an inside turn. Really well done. He's going to be a good player. And here's an interception.
Yeah, you talk about the players that they were able to get this year. Obviously, the class is small, but I think they're going to continue to get better as the year goes on.